Welcome. Today April 3rd in history. 686 Maya King Yuknum Yichak Kak assumes the crown of Kalakmal. 1043 Edward the Confessor is crowned King of England. 1077 The Patriarchate of Friuli, the first Friulian state, is created. 1559 The second of two the treaties making up the Peace of Cateau-Cambrésis is signed, ending the Italian Wars. 1721 Robert Walpole becomes, in effect, the first Prime Minister of Great Britain, though he himself denied that title. 1851 Rama IV is crowned King of Thailand after the death of his half-brother, Rama III. 1860 The first successful United States Pony Express run from St. Joseph, Missouri, to Sacramento, California, begins. 1865 American Civil War. Union forces capture Richmond, Virginia, the capital of the Confederate States of America. 1885 Gottlieb Daimler is granted a German patent for a light, high-speed, four-stroke engine, which he uses 7 months later to create the world's first motorcycle, the Daimler Reitwagen. 1888 Jack the Ripper. The first of 11 unsolved brutal murders of women committed in or near the impoverished Whitechapel district in the East End of London, occurs. 1895 The trial in the libel case brought by Oscar Wilde begins, eventually resulting in his imprisonment on charges of homosexuality. 1920 Attempts are made to carry out the failed assassination attempt on General Mannerheim, led by Aleksander Weckman by order of Eino Rahja, during the White Guard Parade in Tampere, Finland. 1922 Joseph Stalin becomes the first General Secretary of the Communist Party of the Soviet Union. 1933 First flight over Mount Everest, the British Houston Mount Everest flight expedition, led by the Marquis of Clydesdale and funded by Lucy, Lady Houston. 1936 Bruno Richard Hauptmann is executed for the kidnapping and death of Charles Augustus Lindbergh, Jr., the infant son of pilot Charles Lindbergh. 1942 World War II. Japanese forces begin an assault on the United States and Filipino troops on the Bataan Peninsula. 1946 Japanese Lieutenant General Masaharu Homma is executed in the Philippines for leading the Bataan Death March. 1948 Cold War. U.S. President Harry S. Truman signs the Marshall Plan, authorizing $5 billion in aid for 16 countries. 1948 In Jeju Province, South Korea, a civil war-like period of violence and human rights abuses begins known as the Jeju Uprising. 1955 The American Civil Liberties Union announces it will defend Allen Ginsberg's book Howl against obscenity charges. 1956 Hudsonville-Standale tornado. The western half of the lower peninsula of Michigan is struck by a deadly F5 tornado. 1968 Martin Luther King Jr. delivers his, "I've been to the mountaintop" speech. He was assassinated the next day. 1969 Vietnam War. United States Secretary of Defense Melvin Laird announces that the United States will start to Vietnamize the war effort. 1973 Martin Cooper of Motorola makes the first handheld mobile phone call to Joel S. Engel of Bell Labs. 1974 The 1974 super outbreak occurs, the second largest tornado outbreak in recorded history, after the 2011 super outbreak. The death toll is 315, with nearly 5,500 injured. 1975 Vietnam War. Operation Babylift, a mass evacuation of children in the closing stages of the war begins. 1975 Bobby Fischer refuses to play in a chess match against Anatoly Karpov, giving Karpov the title of world champion by default. 1980 U.S. Congress restores a federal trust relationship with the 501 members of the Shiva, Kanash, Kusharam, and the Indian Peaks and Cedar City bands of the Paiute people of Utah. 1981 The Osborne 1, the first successful portable computer, is unveiled at the West Coast Computer Fair in San Francisco. 1989 The U.S. Supreme Court upholds the jurisdictional rights of tribal courts under the Indian Child Welfare Act of 1978 in Mississippi Choctaw Band v. Holyfield. 1993 The outcome of the Grand National Horse Race is declared void for the first, and only, time. 1996 Suspected Unabomber Theodore Kaczynski is captured at his Montana cabin in the United States. 1996 A United States Air Force Boeing T-43 crashes near Dubrovnik Airport in Croatia, killing 35, including Secretary of Commerce Ron Brown. 1997 The Thalat massacre begins in Algeria. All but one of the 53 inhabitants of Thalat are killed by guerrillas. 2000 United States vs. Microsoft Corp. Microsoft is ruled to have violated United States antitrust law by keeping an oppressive thumb on its competitors. 2004 Islamic terrorists involved in the 2004 Madrid train bombings are trapped by the police in their apartment and kill themselves. 2007 conventional train world speed record. A French TGV train on the LGV Est high-speed line sets an official new world speed record. 2008 ATA Airlines, once one of the 10 largest U.S. passenger airlines and largest charter airline, files for bankruptcy for the second time in 5 years and ceases all operations. 2008 Texas law enforcement cordons off the FLDS's YFZ ranch. Eventually 533 women and children will be taken into state custody. 2009 Jiverly Antares Wong opens fire at the American Civic Association Immigration Center in Binghamton, New York, killing 13 and wounding 4 before committing suicide. 2010 Apple Inc. released the first-generation iPad, a tablet computer. 2013 More than 50 people die in floods resulting from record-breaking rainfall in La Plata and Buenos Aires, Argentina. 2016 The Panama Papers, a leak of legal documents, reveals information on 214,488 offshore companies. 2017 A bomb explodes in the St. Petersburg metro system, killing 14 and injuring several more people. 2018 YouTube headquarters shooting. A 38-year-old gunwoman opens fire at YouTube headquarters in San Bruno, California, injuring 3 people before committing suicide. Make your history today. Let me know in the comment below. Thanks for watching.